Dear students, this is the third video on the topic of water microbiology. In the first part of this topic, we have discussed the introduction to the water microbiology, sources of microorganisms in water, fecal pollution of water and indicators of fecal pollution. In the second part, we have discussed the bacteriological analysis of water, in which I have discussed standard plate count method as well as the qualitative tests for coliforms, which include presumptive test, confirmed test and completed test. In this part, we are going to discuss the tests that are used for the differentiation of fecal and non-fecal coliforms. And one of the important tests that is used for this purpose is IMVIC test. So what is IMVIC test? Actually, it is a set of 4 different biochemical tests. In this, the first test is indole test, second one is methyl red test, third one is Hogus-Proskus test, and fourth one is citrate utilization test. And a set of these 4 tests is collectively known as IMVIC test. In the qualitative test for coliforms, if completed test is positive, further testing of water is essential to differentiate the fecal and non-fecal coliforms. And this differentiation is done by this IMVIC test. Escherichia coli and Enterobacter erogens are the important contaminants of water respectively. Among these, Escherichia coli is considered as a fecal coliform as it is mainly found in human feces, while Enterobacter erogens is considered as a non-fecal because it also occurs in other environments like soil and on the plant materials. These two organisms are closely resembling with each other in their morphological and cultural characteristics. And therefore, the biochemical tests are performed to differentiate them. And the tests that are used for their differentiation are collectively designated as the IMVIC tests. The name IMVIC was given by scientist Parr from the first letters of the 4 tests, namely I for indole test, M for methyl red test, Phi for Hogus-Proskus test and C for citrate utilization test. The letter I between Phi and C is added solely for euphony. So we will discuss each of these tests in detail. The first test is indole test. This test is used to detect the ability of organisms to produce an important compound, that is indole, from an amino acid tryptophan. The organism E. coli has ability to break down the tryptophan by enzyme tryptophanase with the release of indole, pyruvic acid and ammonia. However, the Enterobacter species do not produce this enzyme tryptophanase, and therefore they are not producing indole from an amino acid tryptophan. This test is performed by inoculating the test organism either in 1% tryptone water or 2% peptone water and incubation at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours. After incubation, the indole produced in the medium can be detected by adding few drops of xylene and Kovacs or Ehrlich reagent. Kovacs or Ehrlich reagent contains para-dimethyl aminobenzaldehyde. This para-dimethyl aminobenzaldehyde reacts with the indole and produce a cherry red colored compound or pink colored compound. Xylene is added to extract the indole in the upper layer of the medium. So you can see here in this image how is the positive indole test. After the addition of xylene and Kovacs reagent in the medium, there is development of a pink or a cherry red colored ring at the surface of the medium, which is indication of a positive indole test. These are the biochemical reactions in the indole test. So the tryptophan which is present in tryptone or peptone is converted to indole, pyruvic acid and ammonia by the enzyme, that is tryptophanase, produced by the test organism. The produced indole reacts with the para-dimethyl aminobenzaldehyde which is present in the Kovacs reagent and produces a cherry red colored or pink colored compound, and therefore there is development of a pink colored ring. So this is a reduction type of reaction. The next test in the series of mimic test is methyl red test. This test is carried out to detect the acid production ability of the test organism from the sugar, that is glucose. It is performed by inoculating the test organism in the medium that is known as glucose phosphate broth medium and incubating at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours. After incubation, methyl red indicator is added into the tube to detect the acid production, which gives red color in positive reaction while yellow color in a negative test. The organism Escherichia coli rapidly ferments glucose that is present in the glucose phosphate broth with the production of large amount of acids and thereby reduce the pH to about 5.0. This pH or acidity that is developed in the medium prevents the further growth of E. coli in glucose phosphate broth tubes. However, the organism Enterobacter erogens initially produce acids, but later on the produced acid is converted into non-acid products such as ethanol, acetyl methyl carbinol, that is also called as acetone, and 2,3-butanediol, which is a reduction product of acetone. Because of this, Enterobacter erogens continues to grow in the glucose phosphate broth medium without producing its limiting pH. And therefore, the organism's Escherichia coli gives positive methyl red test while Enterobacter erogens gives negative methyl red test. The methyl red is a pH indicator which is red at pH 4.4 while it is yellow at pH 6.2. So, this test is given positive by Escherichia coli while negative by Enterobacter erogens. In this image, you can see how is the methyl red test positive and it is negative. In the positive test, after the addition of methyl red indicator into the medium, there is development of such red color. But in the negative test, there is development of yellow color. The next test in the series of mimic test is Hoogas-Proskauer test. This test is carried out for the detection of the ability of an organism to produce acetyl methyl carbinol, that is acetone from glucose by the test organisms. And it is also performed by inoculating the test organisms in glucose phosphate broth medium and incubating it at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours. This is followed by the addition of 40% potassium hydroxide and 5% alpha-naphthol solution with the shaking of the tube. For the detection of acetyl methyl carbinol or acetone, its further oxidation to diacetyl is required, and it takes place in presence of a catalyst, that is alpha-naphthol, alkali, that is potassium hydroxide, and air. That means in presence of alpha-naphthol, potassium hydroxide and air, acetone is further oxidized to diacetyl. The so produced diacetyl gives red color in presence of peptone, and the constituent of peptone that is responsible for the development of red color is guanidine nucleus of an amino acid arginine, which is present in the peptone. And therefore, the positive test is indicated by the development of the red color. The organism's Enterobacter erogens produce acetone from pyruvic acid, while Escherichia coli do not produce it. That means this test is given positive by Enterobacter erogens while negative by Escherichia coli. So you can see here in this image how is the positive Hoogas-Proskauer test and negative Hoogas-Proskauer test. In the positive test, after the addition of 40% potassium hydroxide and 5% alpha-naphthol, there is development of a red color. But in the negative test, there is no development of a red color. So these are the biochemical reactions in the Hoogas-Proskauer test. Initially, the glucose is converted to pyruvic acid. This pyruvic acid is converted to acetone. But acetone production is only carried out by the organism's Enterobacter erogens. The so produced acetone is oxidized to diacetyl in presence of an oxidizing agent, that is potassium hydroxide. This diacetyl reacts with alpha-naphthol in presence of arginine and produces a red colored compound, and therefore the development of red color is an indication of a positive test. So this test is given positive by Enterobacter aerogenes and negative by Escherichia coli. The last test in the series of IMIC test is CITE test. This test is carried out to detect the ability of an organism to utilize citrate as a sole source of carbon and energy. And the utilization of citrate by the organisms depends upon the production of an important enzyme, citrate permease, that facilitates citrate transport into the cell. The organism's Enterobacter aerogenes produce citrate permease and they are able to utilize citrate as the sole source of carbon, while Escherichia coli do not produce the enzyme citrate permease and therefore they are unable to utilize citrate as a sole source of carbon. This test is performed by inoculating the test organisms in a medium that is known as coarser citrate medium, which contains sodium citrate as the sole source of carbon. After inoculation, the tube is kept for incubation at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours. The ability of organisms to use citrate as a source of carbon and energy is indicated by the development of turbidity in the medium. And the development of turbidity is because of the growth of organisms in the medium. That is the indication of use of citrate as a source of carbon and energy. So in this image, you can see the positive and negative citrate utilization test in the coarser citrate medium. The first tube is of a negative test and the second tube is of a positive test. That means in the second tube there is the occurrence of a turbidity in the medium, and that is due to the growth of the organisms. This citrate utilization test can also be carried out by an alternative medium, and in that the test organisms are inoculated on the Siemens citrate agar slant and incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours. The Siemens citrate agar medium is a modified coarser citrate medium which contains bromothymol blue as a pH indicator. The organism's Enterobacter aerogenes convert citrate that is present in this medium to oxaloacetate and acetic acid by enzyme citrase. These products are further converted to pyruvic acid and CO2. The CO2 released in the medium reacts with the sodium and water that results in the formation of sodium carbonate. The produced sodium carbonate is an alkaline product and therefore it rises the pH of the medium. That means pH becomes alkaline. The bromothymol blue is blue in alkaline condition while it is green in an acidic conditions. And therefore there is a change in color of the slant from green to blue, which indicates a positive test. So you can see here in this image how is the positive and negative citrate utilization test on the Siemens citrate agar slant. So change in color from green to blue is indication of a positive test, and this is due to the change in pH of medium to the alkaline side. So this is the summary of IMIC test. The organism Escherichia coli gives first two tests positive while second two tests negative. That is, indole test and methyl red test are positive and Hogus Proscus and citrate utilization tests are negative by Escherichia coli, while indole test and methyl red test are negative and Hogus Proscus and citrate utilization test are positive by Enterobacter aerogenes. And the commonly designated source of Escherichia coli is fecal, while the source of Enterobacter aerogenes is non-fecal. The IMIC test that is used for the differentiation of fecal and non-fecal coliforms has two drawbacks. The first one is it has many controversial procedures. and the second one is that the test results do not give satisfactory differentiation between fecal and non-fecal coliforms. And therefore, for the differentiation of fecal and non-fecal coliforms, an alternative test is developed, and that test is called as Eijkman's test. This test is proposed by Eijkman in 1904 for the differentiation of fecal and non-fecal coliforms. It is based on the principle that only fecal coliforms of warm-blooded animals grow at 46 degrees centigrade and ferment lactose with the acid and gas production. Most strains of fecal E. coli can ferment lactose in a special buffered broth when incubated at 45 degrees centigrade, whereas very few or less frequently the Enterobacter erogens do so. Such test is called as an Eijkman's test or elevated temperature test. So what is the procedure of this test? In this test, a buffered tryptose lactose broth is inoculated with the culture of coliforms. It is then incubated in water jacketed incubator at 45 degrees centigrade for 48 hours. And the tubes are observed for gas production. The gas production after incubation constitutes a positive test for coliforms. In an alternative method of Eijkman's test, instead of tryptose lactose broth, buffered boric acid lactose broth, that is BALB medium, is used. The advantage of using this medium is that it is selective for fecal E. coli. The boric acid that is present in this medium selectively inhibits the growth and gas production by Enterobacter species and other intermediate members of the coliforms. In the actual test, the sterile medium is first warmed to 37 degrees centigrade and then inoculated with the culture and incubated at 45 degrees centigrade for 48 hours. After incubation, the gas production indicates a positive test. This test gives better results than the IMVIC test, and therefore it is generally preferred in the bacteriological examination of the water. So this is about the differentiation of fecal and non-fecal coliforms on the basis of IMVIC test and Eijkman's test. And this is the third part of the topic, water microbiology. In the next part, we will discuss the tests that are used for the quantitative estimation of coliforms in the water samples, that is MPN and membrane filtration technique. So keep on watching the videos. Thank you for your kind listening. Thank you.